How you doing, everyone? Zaymot here again, and today we have a double feature. We're going to add Sergeant Brown and Stryker to my small world. And welcome back, everyone. First, I'd like to apologize to you all for not dropping a video last week. Unfortunately, I got busy at work and life got in the way, and I was unable to finish editing the video that I had planned for last week. So I decided that what I was going to do, instead of releasing that video, I'll release that one next week. But this week, I'll release a video that's a double feature, taking a look at both Stryker and Sergeant Brown from the World of Eagle Force 40th Anniversary Collection from Fresh Monkey Fiction. Now, these are solid gold army builders, and what do I mean by that? Well, the first part I would hope would be plainly obvious. They're dressed in gold uniforms. And that's because, as I said, they're part of the 40th Anniversary Collection. Now, Eagle Force was originally released by Mego Corporation as 2.5-inch tall action figures made of metal wearing gold uniforms. And these figures pay homage to that, as both Sergeant Brown and Stryker were part of that original 12 lineup that was released by Mego back in 1982. So, the Army Builder part. These two figures have the ability to interchange their parts the most efficiently so that you can army build with virtually any other of the gold uniformed figures and several others to boot. And we'll get to that later. But for now, let's take a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at Stryker here. As you can see, he comes in that standard Eagle Force backer card that we're so used to at this stage. He's got really nice card art. And then flipping it over, we can see that it's, instead of having the normal cross cell that we're used to, it's got a comic book that's kind of like a comic book file card. And of course, we have the collector-friendly packaging. Sergeant Brown is much the same thing. He's got art that pays homage to the original artwork released by Mego back in the day. There he is in his blister. And he also has a comic strip on the back of his package depicting his story, how he meets Captain Eagle and things like that. And again, in that collector-friendly packaging. So, aside from the fact that they don't have the cross-cell on the back, it's pretty much the same thing we're already used to. The red back with the Eagle Force logo, the character's name, their function, and some pretty decent card art. So, let's take a look at these figures out of their little plastic coffin, shall we? And here we have Sergeant Brown and Stryker outside of their plastic and cardboard containment, and aren't they glorious? As you can see by the amount of items on the table in front of me, once again, Fresh Monkey Fiction didn't fail when it comes to the amount of accessories that you get with one of their figures. Now, before we get too deep in the woods with this review itself, I want to offer up some clarity and help to prevent any misconceptions for those of you who may not be very familiar with the world of Eagle Force. Now, as I said, these figures are modern representations of the Eagle Force figures that were released originally by Mego Corporation in 1982. However, unlike other toy manufacturers who are currently tugging on all of our nostalgia strings, hoping that they're attached to our wallets, by remaking, repackaging, and reselling us the same shit that they sold us 40 years ago, but for much higher prices, Fresh Monkey Fiction isn't doing that. These figures are part of a 40th anniversary line, which is a subset to their actual Eagle Force line. The actual Eagle Force line started a few years ago with a Kickstarter and now numbers over 100 action figures, of which these retro figures comprise less than 10% of. The other 90% are all new characters or modern versions of the original characters. We're talking gray, grizzled veterans who have, in some cases, come out of retirement to fight the rising tide of the resurgence of Riot. So they're creating new characters. They're not telling an old story. They gave us a closing chapter to that story and are telling us the continuing story of this group. In my opinion, it's the action figure version of the Expendable story. And I, for one, am very happy that a company is deciding to do that and not just rehash and repack our childhood and gave us something that we can be familiar with while at the same time giving us new things. So, that being said, I'll get off my soapbox and we'll take a look at these figures. Okay, so let's run through the accessories these guys come with. We're going to start with the hands as normal. However, I'm only going to take a look at one set of hands because these guys each come with two complete sets of hands, almost. One in their matching skin tone and one gloved, right? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to look Sergeant Brown here, and we're going to do the skin tone ones because the skin tone ones have an additional hand. So they come with these fist hands, both left and right, which are on a horizontal hinge. Comes with these C-grip hands, which are on a vertical hinge. They come with these bladed hands. Again, I've talked about these before. They're great. Designed for saluting, I am sure. They are on a vertical hinge. But again, I think it's a missed opportunity. We only get these in their flesh color, not in gloved colors. He also has this gesturing hand, which is on a horizontal hinge. And straight out of the packaging, he has the trigger finger hands, which are also on a vertical hinge. Now again, Stryker comes with the exact same gear setup. The only difference is out of the package, he has the trigger finger hands in the gloved color on his arms. One thing of note, that Stryker comes with the ringlets for the gloves. And we've talked about these before. They go on the wrists of the forearms when you interchange and put the gloves on. Sergeant Brown does not. Even though he comes with gloved hands, he does not come with that accessory. My thinking is that, A, there's not enough room because he has long sleeves that come all the way down, so the rings won't fit. Understandable and acceptable. I could probably make it work, but, that's probably the motivation behind that. However, it also isn't necessary because with the long sleeves, in theory, those sleeves would cover up the glove cuffs anyway, right? So not a big deal, just an observation on my part. Okay, so moving on, Sergeant Brown comes with this gold beret that has the Eagle Force logo paint tampoed onto it, and it looks really clean. I'm amazed that they can get that kind of a detail on something so small. I mean, it's just amazing. And then he also comes with what I believe to be a grenade launcher. At least that's what it reminds me of. Again, guys, not an expert on guns here, but that's what it looks like to me. And he also comes with this very tiny little gun. And we've seen this before, only this time it's in black. And there are no paint apps whatsoever on it. So just black gun. And then, much like Chill Shot did, because Sergeant Brown has that tactical vest with the portholes built onto it, he comes with all of these accessories that can be mounted onto it for a variety of different looks. He comes with the holster designed for that tiny little gun. He comes with what I assume is a plate that goes on the back of the figure, or it can go on the upper left-hand corner. It's designed for a name. A lot of military and police officers wear these on their vest to identify either their names or the unit that they are with. CPD, U.S. Army, SEALs, whatnot, FBI. The figure also comes with the shotgun shells, or since he comes with a grenade launcher, maybe they're supposed to be grenades, but they look like shotgun shells to me. He comes with these teeny tiny little magazine pouches, which I'm assuming are designed for that teeny tiny little gun. He comes with these pouches here, which are pretty nondescript. You can think that and claim that there's anything in there you like. He also comes with these two larger magazine pouches, which I assume are originally designed much like, again, with Chill Shot. They were for the larger scale AR rifle that he carries. Although Sergeant Brown doesn't come with such a weapon, there are accessory packs available on both Fresh Monkey Fiction and Big Bad Toy Store that include a wide variety of weaponry that you can go ahead and re-outfit some of these guys and increase their arsenal. So there's that. And then there's this, which is the mystery part for me. I'm not sure what this is. I mean, I'm looking at it, and it's got these ridges on the sides. I can't really tell what it is. Could be additional armor plating. I honestly don't know, and I'm not going to hazard a guess. If you guys know, do me a favor and leave a comment in the comments below telling me what that is. And then we have my favorite part. Just like with the other figure, he has this little teeny tiny cell phone. Although because he's a gold figure, his is gold. I love this. This was a great addition. The fact that they included something like this, so tiny, I'm just amazed. I love stuff like this. It's world building 101 as far as I'm concerned. Although, note of point, he doesn't have any text messages unlike Chill Shot, so he's obviously not as popular. Sergeant Brown also comes with this additional head. And this additional head, again, matches his skin tone, has the gold helmet to match the uniform, and blue goggles. Now, I did mention this before, and this holds true for these figures as well. If you want to swap out these heads, the head that's on the figure comes on and off fairly easily because it's been on that post the entire time while it's been on the package after it came out of the factory. This has not. This came off the mold, has been put in the package, and has been sitting. So the hole, the receiver in the neck, is still the same size, and it's not going to fit on that ball peg on that barbell very easily. So heat these heads up, avoid yourself the heartache, stress, and pressure. Just go ahead and warm these up. I'd recommend a hair dryer, very low heat. Go ahead and heat it up until it's a little bit squishy, and then go ahead and pop it on. You'll be fine. All right, and that's Sergeant Brown. So moving over to Lieutenant Stryker. I don't know why I called him Lieutenant Stryker. I don't know. There's just something makes me want Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat makes me want to call this guy Lieutenant Stryker. Okay, just Stryker. Sorry. He comes with his baseball hat, which sadly does not have the Eagle Force logo on it. I think that's a missed opportunity. I really wish that it was on there. But it does include the little strap in the back like a normal baseball cap, which I think is pretty neat. He also has the Eagle Force beret, which again has that beautiful little Eagle Force tampo on it. He comes with this absolutely stunning looking sniper rifle. Now, this is something that, again, we first saw, I believe, with the eraser when I showed you that. These guns have enough detail to make them realistic, but not so much detail as to make them busy, right? I mean, it has a muzzle suppressor, it has its scope, which is painted in black. The magazine is not removable. It is also painted in black, as is the handle. And it just looks really great. I really appreciate the detail that they put in there. Again, great detail, but not so much that it makes it busy, which I can appreciate that. He also comes with, once again, what I believe to be the Colt sidearm. That was standard issue in the U.S. military for many, many years. Again, just plain black, no paint apps on this, just like Sergeant Brown's small pistol. As previously mentioned, he comes with the ringlets for his gloves. Oh, these little buggers. And we've discussed those previously. And he, too, comes with an additional head. Again, the paint for the face matches his skin tone, the gold helmet, and the blue-gray goggles. And that's it for their gear. So let's take a look at one of the figures themselves, shall we? Let's grab Sergeant Brown here. Let's take him off this stand. And these stands, guys, again, I got these from Anthony from Imperial Communique. It's called Platoon Systems is the name of his website. They're really inexpensive. They clip together. If you have a large quantity of 3 3/4 inch action figures, whether it be Star Wars, G.I. Joe, Eagle Force, hopefully, these things are just fantastic. I love these so much better than the other stands because I don't like the branding on everything. So, Sergeant Brown. He has a barbell head that allows movement down about that far, up about straight, 360 Linda Blair action, and he has a lot of expression side to side, which I appreciate. The shoulders have a vertical hinge that allow the arms to go up about that far. They're on a 360-degree rotation. The arms have a single joint, which goes up, I'd say about 90. It, too, is on a 360-degree rotation. As I said before, the hands that come on the figure are the trigger finger hands, and they are on a vertical hinge, and they also rotate. The figure has, under the vest here, a ball-jointed waist very similar to the original O-ring style figures, which allows him a pretty decent amount of mobility front and back. He has ball-jointed hips, which allow him to go out about that far, a la Jean-Claude Van Damme. He has upper thigh swivels, double-jointed knees, a boot cut, dorsiflexation, and ankle rockers. So all in all, nothing new. These are the type of articulation we expect from modern action figures at this point, and the Eagle Force figures in general. So Now that we've looked at the articulation, Stryker has the exact same articulation. The only differences here are in the uniforms. And we are going to take a look at these next. Okay, so in the beginning of the video, I referred to these two as solid gold army builders. It's not just a play on words because they're in gold uniforms and they come with additional heads so you can army build, right? Between these two figures, you have enough parts to go ahead and interchange the arms, legs, gear sets, and create a wide variety of troops for your army should you choose to army build these guys. Now, Eagle Force is also very ethnically diverse. You have characters that are African American, you have Hispanic characters, characters from Latin America and Central America, you have a variety of Caucasian guys, there's even a Russian in the group, and some Asians. So each of them have a unique skin tone, right? So a lot of the figures come with these extra trooper heads that match the skin tone. One example that I'm going to give you that this just does not work with is Tiger. Tiger has a gold uniform that has black tiger stripes on it. His helmet does not. And are we really expected to believe that this one guy leads like a whole battalion of gold-covered tiger stripe wearing, troopers? No. However, again, by interchanging body parts, you can create a wide variety of characters. And in Sergeant Brown's case in specific, you can pull off his head, pull off his hands, throw on a set of gloves and a helmet, and he can be any ethnicity that you want him to be. As a matter of fact, much like the G.I. Joe Steel Brigade or the Creator Cobra, you can turn him into whoever you want, and I'll show you that next. So if you decide that you like the gold-colored 40th anniversary figures and you want to add some troopers to back them up in the field of battle, these are a couple options that you've got. So I wanted to emulate what I had said earlier about the Steel Brigade from the original G.I. Joe line and create this nondescript character who could be of any ethnic group or even yourself in figure form. So in order to do that, we had to keep the long sleeves for Sergeant Brown and add the gloves so their ethnicity is indeterminable. I added this fully enclosed helmet from another figure that I haven't reviewed on the channel yet, but I will. And since it's easier to swap out the legs at the hip joint than it is the arms, I took Stryker's legs and added them to the Sergeant Brown figures, adding the knee pads and the thigh holster. Gave him Stryker's 45 and added his web gear, and voila, we have a nameless, faceless trooper for the Eagle Force. On this end, obviously, I took Sergeant Brown's legs and added them to Stryker. Took and gave him his M79 grenade launcher, added the Caucasian trooper head, and the tactical vest, creating another variation of a trooper. Now, again, as I said earlier, Eagle Force is a very ethnically diverse line. And there are several characters who have varying skin tones. One that comes to mind that doesn't suit a troop builder would be Tiger, because he has a very unique uniform. And by utilizing something like this, you can take and you can add the hands that match the skin tone for the helmet, which is a very unique looking face because it has a mustache. And you can create a trooper that will back him up utilizing that head. Same thing goes for characters like El Toro, who also has a unique skin tone. He has rolled up sleeves, but he has very unusual legs with pants that come all the way down over the boots, which I'm not a big fan of. I like the combat boot look. So you can take, and in this case, you can swap in either these legs or these legs to that character and add the trooper head, or you can swap the arms and the trooper head onto one of these other bodies and create an all-new character, or you can do both and have a variety. So really, when you look at it, using these two characters as your baseline for your army builders, the sky's almost the limit as far as what you can do with these characters and coming up with nameless troops. Well, that's my review, folks. I thank you for watching. If you like the content that I'm providing, please like, comment, and subscribe. That definitely helps out the algorithm and gets my channel out to other folks who may enjoy the Eagle Force and don't even know it yet. This has been Zaymot. I thank you for your time, and remember, we don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. So play with your toys.